Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be continuing on with some Base 3 stuff. So Lionel has released the Legacy System Update utility, which is a utility that goes on your Windows PC, and it allows you to connect directly to the base without using the app, and then do stuff right directly on the database itself, so you can change things and add things and do different stuff like that. So they had the same utility with the previous 990 legacy base. So now they have a new one out for the base 3, and I think it looks like it has some more tabs on it, so we'll check it out, see what's in there. But we'll go through the installation and then we'll check it out. We'll connect it to our base 3. We'll do some updates because I think I have an engine I sold, so I can take it out of there and do a couple other things and see if it all works. So let's jump into it. Alright guys, so what you're going to do is go out to control.lionel.com. That's their newest power and control website. You're going to go to the base 3 section on the left here and then go down to explore more. Once you get to that page, you're going to go down on the left hand column down to the base 3 system utility. And then it's going to give you a description of the utility, some of the main functions of the utility. Read through all that, and then you're going to see the screenshot and of course then the download button. So you're going to click download, and depending on your operating system it may go right to your download folder, or like on mine I do a save as, and then I just pick the folder I want to go to, so I'm going to save it in my downloads folder. Once it's finished downloading, you can open the folder itself, and then you can right click and then do an extract to unzip it. And when you do that, you should end up with 3 files here. One is the setup file. So we're just going to launch the setup file. Now you can run it as administrator if you want to make sure you don't have any problems, but most of the time you should be able to just run it. And then when you do that, it'll copy some files and you'll get to the base 3 utility setup. Just say OK. It's going to give you a destination directory. Now, even though you can click the change directory button and move it someplace else, there is a note on the website that says leave it in this directory or it won't function. So I'm just going to leave it. And then you're going to just click this button to install. Okay, you're going to get a little window for your shortcuts on your start menu. So just hit continue because it'll go under the Lionel folder. And then it's going to start its installation. And it says it was updated successfully, and you're going to click OK. Now on 2 other machines that I was working on, a Windows 8 and a Windows 11, I got a little message telling me that one of the Windows system files was newer than what the installation was trying to install. And did I want to keep the newer one or the older one? So you always want to keep a newer one if the Windows operating system has a newer one than what the Lionel setup has. So just if you get that message on your particular machine, just make sure you select you want to keep the newest one. And then that's it. So now it's technically installed on our machine. So if we go to start and then we actually scroll down to Lionel, it should be in here, which it is. And then there's the base 3 utility. I'm just going to do a pin to my taskbar at the bottom here, and now I have it on my taskbar at the bottom right here, and I'm just going to click it. It's going to launch the utility, as you can see right here. I'm getting a little Norton option right here because it doesn't have a valid digital signature on it, so they give you some options, but one is allow always, which is what I'm going to click. And then you can see that I have my utility open. All right, so now the utility itself is, pretty straightforward as far as what it goes, as far as the tabs go. A lot of these will be familiar because it's the same as the previous system utility for the 990 base, but there's some new tabs on here in addition to that. So first you have the base 3 settings. You've got memory modules, engine data, Bluetooth, RF, command, Wi-Fi, train data, accessory data, switch data, and route data. First place you want to go to is the Wi-Fi settings, because you want to connect this, or actually you should go up to configure here, communications, because you want to connect this to your base 3, right? So if you know the IP address, you can type it right in. If you don't, you can hit the search button and it should start searching through your IP addresses and then eventually, hopefully, it will find a valid IP address that has the base on it. Now, I am up on the 3rd floor right now, and the Base3 is in the basement, so we'll see how good it is, but just because of my mesh network at my house, should be able to find the Base3 in the basement, so we'll give it a second to go through these IP addresses until it can find the correct one. Now, once it finds it, then what it'll do is pull the information in from the Base3, and now you're going to be able to tell, you'll be able to see your entire database within the application here, instead of having either to use the CAB3 app to see your stuff or make changes through the CAB3 app. And also, you'll get some additional stuff in the system utility. So this utility was always very handy on the 990. I mainly used it for backing up the 990 database in case something happened so I could restore it. And the second thing I used it for was going into engines, accessories, and everything when I wanted to either rename something, change the settings on it, or something like that, instead of having to go through the 990 remote, which was a little more clunky to scroll through all the sections to make the changes there. So it just depends, but you basically can use this utility for those tasks that make it much faster and easier. The other thing that this will do is it will allow you to do the Base3 firmware updates directly from this utility over to the base. Now, I just released a video on updating the base and the CAB3 app because this utility came out actually after I made that video. So I had already done it the way you can do it through the CAB3 app. That's one way you can do it. But you can also do it through this section. Okay, so we couldn't find a valid IP address, so I got to go find it. I think it's still on downstairs. I got to go check. But we'll go check that out and get this connected. Okay guys, so I did get it connected. As you can see on the bottom here, Wi-Fi is connected, the base is connected. I'm in idle status right now, and you can see I'm getting some information here when I click on each tab. So it's gotta load all this information down, right? So as you click each tab, it reads the data. So this is my train data. I got to click each tab to make it do its thing. It's going to pull all the information in from each one of the sections. All right, so I've got train data, accessory, switch, route data, and then engine data. And the reason I want to read all this first is because I want to make a backup for my Base3. Okay, and then train data, did that, engine data, okay. All right, and then so let's look at the Wi-Fi settings first. So it's just going to give me all my information, what channel I'm on, all those kinds of things, and then I actually have 2 active connections. I got this one, and then I have the handheld phone. I have the app open connected to, so it gives me my SSID, and then of course an encrypted password. So pretty much standard stuff for Wi-Fi. Okay, train data. This is basically kind of the same as it was before for your train data. So those are when you're lashing multiple engines or maybe an engine and a sound car together. Shows your train data. What's nice in this utility now, because we have rosters in the app, is you can click the show roster. And show roster shows you everything that you have as far as trains. So you can see I've got 5. And those are IDs too. So I can quickly see my ID I signed for these particular trains, right? And if you double click on any one of these, it'll actually just open it up for you. You don't even have to go scrolling. So that's really nice when you use it off the show roster. It'll also show you all its information. And this is all stuff you can change right here, right? So if you wanted to change the title of it, the name of it, whatever it may be, then you can switch any of this information, right? Same with the touchscreen icons, etc. Once you make changes, then the save changes to base will be here, and then you can actually save those changes. You also have the little icons down here that are showing you your pieces, right? So here's the New York Central 5426 steam legacy engine, right? And this is the Empire State Express passenger car, which is the Station Sounds Diner car, and that's what I have in this train right here. Okay, so and then you can turn on and off, show active, trains only, and things like that. So this was all here before, except the roster's new here for the train data tab. On the accessory data, we got the same thing. This is all the same here as it was before, except we have the extra roster one. These are all the accessories and then their IDs and everything. And if I want to change one, I want to change its name or whatever it is, I just double click it. It takes me right to it. And then you're all set to go. So nothing spectacular there. It's about the same, except it has the new roster button. Switch data is the same way, same as before, only now you can actually show the roster. These are all my switches and their names, and I can double click them and change them if I wanted to. Okay, and then same thing with the route data. So if you have routes, then you can, I don't have any right now in here, but if I had routes, they'd be all listed here. And then you can name your route, and of course you can add, to edit the route. So switch number, whatever, and is it a through, out left, out right, whatever you're doing to create your routes. But it's easily done through here, which is a little bit easier than using the app to do it, right? You can do it all right on a screen on a Windows PC. Okay, and then when you get to the, let's just finish it out with engine data here. Engine data is the same as it was before. You can show your roster, pick your engine, change your IDs, your names, all the different stuff. Change what type it is, what type of control system, legacy, TMCC, whatever. You also have the touch screens for like whatever you're changing on that particular engine that you can change so that the buttons are, what you want the buttons to be on the screen in relation to the action here. And then everything else is the same as far as you can clear an engine. And the other thing is that you can still make these memory modules to load your information on here if you're taking it to a club or something like that, right? Or the clubs can save all their engines on a multi-engine module. So you can still make your memory modules and everything too in the Base3 system utility. The one difference is, of course, the roster button, but then also the engine type at the top. And basically, you have these different types now because in the Base3 we have more options, right? We have 4-digit addressing on certain engines, and then we have Bluetooth and RF that we can program in on the legacy side, right, to control those types of engines that don't have legacy radios in them. Okay, so that's the main difference there. On the Bluetooth tab, this is, again, if you're using the Base3 side of the app, not the Bluetooth side, but the Base3 side of the app, and you want to run a Bluetooth only engine. So in other words, the engine does not have a legacy radio in it. Then you can actually program a Bluetooth in on the legacy side. And as you know, it has to be in one of these addresses 10 through 29. So that's what these are showing here, basically, what you have signed there. And then same thing for the old Lion Chief RF engines. Those have to be TMCC ID 2 through 9. And it'll show you all those. And you can do the same thing here as far as like managing all that stuff within here. Okay, so those are pretty straightforward as far as all those go. And then on the Base3 settings tab, it'll tell you your name of your base, which I could change right here if I wanted to. It'll tell me what revision I'm currently on, my channel, that the Base3 is on, and then it'll tell me things like the stats for all the radios, right? And then this is really where you want to be here after you've loaded all your data, which is you can back up your database now. So if I hit the backup, it's going to load all my information in here so it can create the file, and then all it's going to do is bring up a window so that I can actually save it to any location that I want to as a backup file. Okay, and then actually it's, even though I did that before, it's going through the same thing again, probably getting the latest information here for the backup file. So it still goes through those tabs just to grab all the information. Okay, and then it'll just bring up a window so that you can pick where you want it to go, and then you're just gonna pick wherever you want it to be, and then you're going to name it, backup file, and probably date it 9/28. And then you're just going to hit the save button, and it's now saved a file, and now you have a backup of your base 3. Okay, and if you need to restore it, you could do the restore button, and then you have a choice here. Do you want to overwrite your Wi-Fi settings? You'll have the choices, and then you'll pick your backup file. Okay, and then you'll just continue on and load it back in. If for some reason you have a problem and the database is damaged or whatever, and you just need to erase it from the base and start with an empty database, there is an erase one here too. And then on the right hand side, you've got Base 3 firmware upgrades. You've got the Wi-Fi firmware upgrade and the Bluetooth radio firmware upgrades. So you can see the latest revisions. You can get a latest revision and then download it, update it right from the Base 3 system utility right over to the base. So pretty easy. This is probably a little quick, faster step than the whole thing with the, if you just have your Base 3 connected to your system utility, in AP mode and everything like that, and then it's just quick and easy to do a firmware upgrade. So just another way that you can do it, makes it easy. Okay. And that's pretty much it. I mean, you guys can go through this. There are instructions out on the website to go through some of these things here. The last tab that they did add that is new for this system utility is the command panel. And so if you click that, this gives you sort of a little control panel to control your trains, but it's meant to be used sort of as a testing mode. So if you're trying to test something, this just gives you some basic tests without having to, I could use this and just put the engine's ID in here and then, try to, run it and do different things with it for testing purposes. Like if I had I have a little test track off the layout. And as long as you're connected with a wire to the outside rail, then you should be able to run a test on any train you're working on or whatever it may be. So if you go to the website, you can get some more information on this, but you can see it has just basic functions. It's not going to allow you to do all the different legacy functions, and it's not meant to control your trains. It's meant as a test panel to test different things on your trains. But so they must be using this themselves for something. So, but that's kind of cool, right? Because you can do those different things here and then test different things on your system. So that's what the little command panel is supposed to be for. And I think that's pretty much it. That it's pretty straightforward, simple, but it's nice that utility's out now and we can use it. And the main thing I've done already is I did a backup of my Base 3 because I didn't have that, and that I put a lot of information into that into the base already, so I don't want to lose it just in case something should go wrong. On the previous video, if you watched it, I did an update to the firmware, and the first time I did it, the base wouldn't restart. It was like sort of dead in the water. No lights came on. I couldn't get it to do anything. So I just redid the firmware update a second time, and then everything went through. But something had happened there, and I lost it, and then I had to clear the database or something, which you could do now that I have the utility. I could reload all my stuff back in and not have to worry about manually putting all that data back into the system. So I would suggest you guys just grab this utility, get it installed, and then go ahead and do a backup at the minimum on your system, so you have it right there. Now, I did install this on a Windows 8 machine, a Windows 11 machine, even though the website says it's only XP up to 10, Windows 10, but it did install fine on a Windows 11 machine. And this is a Windows 10 that you're seeing right here, and then I have a Windows 8 in the basement that I use for the trains. Installed on all three, no issues, except on the other two machines, it did ask me about overriding that Windows system file, which of course I didn't. I kept the latest Windows file that was out there, but it still worked even though I kept the newer Windows version of the file. It still worked fine and everything was okay. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I hope this will help a little bit with you guys installing this, and then how you can use it. And it's I've used it with the 990 system. It's nice and easy, especially when you want to go in and clear engines and stuff. Oh, that's one thing that I forgot to mention. So I did have an engine in here in my roster that I sold, so I didn't have it anymore. So I came into the Base3 utility, and I got to the engine, and I hit the clear engine, and it did clear it out of here. So when I went back to my roster, it was gone. However, when I went into the Cab3 app and I went under the roster, the engine's data was all gone as far as the name, the picture, nothing was there, but it left a sort of a placeholder with that same ID, and it just had unknown as the engine. So I still had to go into the app and then clear it from the app itself. So you just go under the engine's menu, engine setup menu, and then you just delete it and you clear it out, and then it'll clear it off your roster in the app. So it didn't completely get rid of it in the app, but all the information was gone from it. It's just that it left the ID in there and then an unknown engine title. So just keep that in mind. If you do clear it from here, you may have to go into the app and then clear it over there too. Otherwise, I did make some changes, like I renamed one of my engines and then saved the changes to the base, and then I just refreshed the app screen and it made the change, and it was in the app of the exact change that I had made. So it seems to all work. Guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that video on the legacy system utility that you can use with your Base3. Just remember, it's a separate utility from the one that was used with the 990 legacy base, so you have to have both apps if you want to use both of them on those different systems. But otherwise, pretty cool. Has all the basic same functions as the old one did, so everything seems to work. And at this point, now we have a nice utility. We can connect directly to the base and just do changes without having to go through the app. So thumbs up on that one. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, put your comments down below, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace, guys.